Hi, everyone. My name is Amelie Fairweather, and I'm a 17-year-old living in Charlotte, Vermont. Now, I love Vermont, and I promise Congresswoman Balint did not pay me to say this, but I wake up every morning in the summer to tall grass and cicadas and the creek outside my window. Growing up in a place where you are sure to count at least 10 cows every morning, regardless of whether you're headed to school, work, or morning coffee at the old brick store, means I am also surrounded by a real community of hardworking farmers, local business owners, and students who all, in some way or another, have a family connection to Ben and Jerry's. That's a Vermont joke. I don't know if everyone here will get that. One of the best parts of Vermont is its community values of nature and the environment, but learning how to code so far away from the tech industry is hard. We never did anything with programming at my middle school, and even assisting the computer programming teacher at my high school, we've barely touched on actual coding. That's why the Congressional App Challenge is so important to young people in rural places like Vermont. And I want to introduce someone who makes this challenge possible and is the reason why I am able to speak here tonight. Each time I have the pleasure of speaking with Congresswoman Balint, she makes each interaction so meaningful and personable because she truly cares about what each person has to say. Congresswoman Balint works tirelessly to defend our right to privacy as citizens. Last week, I heard her speak at a Planned Parenthood event where she spoke so compassionately and with such verve that every single time I publicly speak now, including today, I think, channel Becca, channel Becca. She's so compelling because she truly cares about each issue she addresses. We know her here as Congresswoman Balint, but back home, we call her Becca. She will be a loud voice amongst those making AI work for people, not just corporate profits. Vermont, all of us, are so lucky to have someone so compassionate representing our democracy. Please welcome one of my biggest personal inspirations, Congresswoman Becca Balint.
Hello, everyone. Amelie, thank you so much for that really lovely introduction. I'm so proud of her. I'm so proud of all the students here today. And I was a teacher before I was in Congress. I taught mostly history and social studies, middle school, high school, and community college. And one of the things that always impacts the work that I do here in Congress is thinking about all of those students and all of those families that I had over the years come through my classroom. Because when you're a teacher, what you're trying to do is make a connection to each person and figure out the thing that is going to be the idea that lights them up. And as I look around this room, I see builders, I see change makers, I see young people who are not waiting for things to happen to them, but you are going to make those things happen for yourself. And that matters a lot right now. I think regardless of political party, regardless of your beliefs, I think a lot of Americans right now are feeling like things are happening to them. They're feeling overwhelmed and not sure what the future is going to hold. I know I have two high school kids myself, and in talking to my own kids at the dinner table, we talk a lot about, what is the future going to look like? And so the challenge for all of us right now is to make sure that we are listening to all of the people that we represent. And it's one of the reasons why I make a point to really spend time with a lot of middle school, high school, and college students in my district so that I can understand what are the issues that are really driving you. So we're living through a moment right now of so much change. I think about what my life was like, both as a teacher and also when I was your age. And I can't imagine what it would be like right now to be trying to figure out who you are in the world while also trying to navigate technology. And I always like, when I'm talking to students, to remind them that you actually might know exactly what you want to do with your life. You might know right now. And I think a lot of people say it's too early for you to know. You might know that really in your heart and in your spirit, because I did. I absolutely knew what I wanted to do. And this is what I wanted to do. I wanted to represent people. I didn't know I would ever make it to Congress, but I wanted to be an elected representative to make positive change for people. So imagine some of you out there through the app challenge and doing the work that you're doing in technology, you feel yourself light up by that. And I want you to think really seriously about making sure that you're surrounding yourself with people who believe in you, with people who believe that change is possible, and make sure you nurture those relationships. And listen to that voice inside of you that may be saying to you right now, I know where I want to go, I just need to figure out how to get there. So there's a lot of change that we face in front of us. And the question that I always think about when I'm talking about technology or I'm talking about AI is, who's it going to serve? Because it can't just serve a handful of powerful people or corporations. It has to serve the people. And by the people, I mean our communities, our networks, our families. And as a member of Congress, I think a lot about of the people, by the people, and for the people. And there is a role for technology in that too, in connecting people, bringing people together. That's a conversation that we need to be having right now. Who is it for? Who will benefit? And it's why events like this with the App Challenge, why they're so important. Because you're not all just coding. You are imagining what the future could be, what it should be, and you're imagining how you yourselves can help bring that about. Now, as I said before, I come to this work as a former teacher. I taught in 4 different rural public schools in Vermont. And I've seen firsthand what it can look like when people are given the tools and the trust and the room for them to lead. And I've also seen what happens when they're left out. So when I talk about AI and emerging technologies, I want us to stay grounded in some core values. That technology should serve the greater good and not just make people a lot of money, though you can make some money. I know some of you may have that as a goal in mind. I certainly know from talking with my own kids, they want to be able to take care of themselves. But it means asking the really hard questions about who's going to get to benefit, who is going to be left behind if we're not doing the work of creating technology very thoughtfully. Because right now, what we're seeing with a lot of powerful technologies, which can be rolled out without due accountability and checks on the system, without transparency, and without, in my opinion, some guardrails to help guide us, we have a situation in which some people will absolutely be abused by the technology if it's not made correctly, or they may actually just be left behind. So, as a representative of Congress, I have the great honor of representing the entire state of Vermont. We only get one, we're tiny, I'm it. But every day when I walk through the door, I try to figure out what is the work that I'm doing now and how will it benefit the people back home. And I want you to be thinking about that as you continue to explore your work within technology. So in Vermont, like many of your districts, it's an incredible hotbed of innovation and creativity, but it's also a place where people worry a lot about privacy and surveillance. I probably get asked that more than any other question at the end of a town hall. People want to know, what are we doing in Congress to protect the privacy that we hold so dear in this country? And they want to know that we're looking out for them. And they deserve answers. Absolutely. And you all deserve the leadership of people in elected office who are going to invite you in to help solve the problem. And as a former teacher and as a mom, I get frustrated sometimes when people say, oh, our children are our future. You're not our future. You are our now. You are the ones right now helping to change the world. It's not going to happen later. You're already part of that process. And I'm very serious about building a workforce for the future that isn't going to leave people behind. And yes, technology can be an incredible tool for people in big cities, but it's also an amazing tool for small towns like I serve in rural Vermont. And we need to make sure that every single student, regardless of where you all live, that you have a fair shot at building the life that you want to help create. And that means, of course, investing in education, something dear to my heart. And it means supporting programs like Hack Club, programs that are gathering students together and essentially unleashing you all to do the thing that you do best, which is share big ideas together and think about possibility and think about promise. And it means recognizing that successes as individuals, it's not just about building success for yourself, it's about that integrated community of ideas. And if we keep that in mind, if those are the core values driving us, we will be more mindful of the kind of technology that we use in the years to come. Because behind every system, behind every tool, behind every app, there are people. And you are the ones creating these tools that you hope will be of service in some way to your communities. We can't build a future where technology moves so fast that people are expected to keep up even though they can't afford it or simply be left behind. It can be an incredible great equalizer as long as we're keeping those things in mind. It's got to be fair. It's got to have opportunity for all. And Hack Club in particular really excites me because it is built on core values, I think, that must be embedded in technology: creativity, democracy, and community. That's the kind of leadership that we need right now, regardless of political persuasion, regardless of what district you come from, regardless of where you end up making your life, to think about having the work that you do be embedded in creativity, democracy, and community. Because at the end of the day, technology is only as good as the inputs that we put into it. It's only as good as the values that it's rooted in. And I want to bring it back around to where I started. You might know what you want to do right now. And it's very important that you hear me. There will be times in your life when you are trying to solve a problem and get something done, and people will try to dismiss you because of your age or your lack of experience, of your lack of expertise. Please don't ever let anyone tell you to wait your turn. That's not the kind of energy we need right now. We need problem solvers. We need change makers. And sometimes that means swinging out and trying something different that other people might not be ready for. But if you give them time, they'll come along with you. So don't ask for permission to help shape the future. You're already doing it. So stay collaborative, stay curious, stay rooted in the importance of why you do the work. And I'll close with this. In Vermont, we like to think that we punch above our weight. We're a small state, but we try to find opportunities to lead wherever we can. And we show up for our neighbors in our communities. We work together. We don't back down from big challenges. We roll up our sleeves and say, how can we get more people in the room to help solve this problem? And as I look out at all of you today, I feel that same sense of possibility. And I'm hoping that this gathering will enable you to make connections all over the country. Those are the networks for the systems that you're going to create, for the projects that you're going to create. This isn't just a blip in time. I really want you to build on the relationships that you're making at this gathering, because we need you. We desperately need you. We need you to build a technology for the future that is going to bring us together and stop driving us apart. Thank you so much for having me today. I hope you enjoy the rest of your time here. And I say it from the bottom of my heart. I'm so proud of all of you. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep being creative. Keep making the world better for all of us. Thank you.
Wow, thank you, Congresswoman. Those three words really stuck with me: creativity, democracy, and community, right? Like, what else is there? What else is there that makes America so strong? It's just incredible. Anyway, I was just standing back there in awe. I want to reintroduce, and I want you to all give a warm welcome to Amelie Fairweather. She's going to come back up and talk about Hack Club, but not just that. She also has a pretty good talk about real life problem solving, creating a tangible solution. So give her a warm welcome.
Sorry, I'm just making sure this works. Okay, I might not know how to use this. I'm really sorry. I just... Sorry, 1 second. Isn't Congresswoman Becca Balint amazing? I love her so much. Sorry, this is just, I'm not sure what's happening. Okay, but I'll start. I want to tell all the students here tonight about ways that you can travel to hackathons for free and win prizes like a MacBook Air, AirPods, and a 3D printer. I mean, who wouldn't want that? I'll reintroduce myself first. I'm the winner of the app challenge for my state, but I'm also a student. See, myself and everyone here has learned math, English, language almost every year at school. Yet we never learn anything about software. Even though I'd argue computer programming is just as essential and definitely relevant, especially with the recent developments in AI. 5th grade was when I first began creating websites. We didn't have AI yet, so I was lucky to find finding good resources to teach yourself how to code was hard. I was lucky enough to find Hack Club and met other teenagers interested in coding. This summer, they convinced NASA to donate prizes, which may include a ride in a jet or a chance to float around in a gravity-free environment. And you can do all of this for free by coding at Hack Club. This is a photo of, I'm in the photo. Last summer at SpaceX, we got to do a hackathon there with other SpaceX engineers, and it was amazing, completely free, and earned just through coding. What I love about programming is that you can literally make anything possible. There are no constraints. Here are some of the websites I have recently built, including the one I won the challenge for. And these range from a personal website to a AI-powered predictive weather service that uses multi-source data aggregation to improve flood safety, road safety, and even a snow day calculator. Possibilities in coding are endless, but you all already know that. A few days ago, I told a girl in my class about this incredible opportunity, to which she responded, "You're so lucky you learned how to code. I wish I could do that." Coding is no harder than learning a language, even easier with AI. With the same time and effort that girl put towards her French classes, she'd be proficient by now. Almost anything we code can serve some group of people. So how do you create something that extends beyond a challenge, beyond your town? How do you create something that can make real impacts nationwide? First, identifying the right question is key. I built an app dedicated to encouraging carpooling or ride services for those in my community without a license who couldn't afford the steep prices of Uber. Rather than asking, how can I provide a ride service for community members, which was a problem that had already been solved by Uber, the million-dollar question was, how can I provide transportation for those who cannot afford the price of Uber? My focus was cost, not transportation. Next, I thought through the constraints. The best solutions are the ones that actually view traditional constraints positively. For example, hotel chains were unable to develop in rural areas due to building constraints. However, Airbnb viewed this as a positive and saw an opportunity to be incredibly successful as they were able to expand to said rural areas without having to worry about competition from the hotel industries. Secondly, identifying what tools you need. Think real world. Think through every complaint or issue and don't just minimize them, solve them. There aren't very many kidnappers in Vermont, but I envisioned a world where a lack of security features on my app allowed them to promise rides to any teenagers. I needed a license verification step, and so I needed advanced Python, CV/CD automation skills, and a scoring algorithm. I had never built anything like that before, but that's where resources like Hack Club are so important because they actively walk you through step by step how to create something like this. And there is a huge Slack community of teenagers just like yourselves who are so happy and so nice and so able to provide support. Thirdly, and this is kind of what I was just talking about, network. Get users, get your parents, get your friends and their parents to use your service. Get people on the Hack Club Slack to use your service. They'll give you really good feedback. Don't be afraid to cold email journalists, CEOs, and teachers. Ask them for a 15-minute meeting and pitch your project. Create an Instagram, a LinkedIn, an email. Seriously, make your product as professional and presentable as possible. I run a student group dedicated to the inclusion of women's history at my high school. Just having a website, an email, and an Instagram alone is enough to warrant the response, "Wow, this is serious," from most adults. Jokings aside, we have been featured in the largest news outlet in our state and have had our events attended by multiple state senators and legislators and the first female governor of Vermont and the head of education during the Clinton administration, Madeline Kunin. I did this by writing emails and then writing follow-ups. Follow-ups are really important. What I loved most about participating in the Congressional App Challenge is that it helped me begin to think through these steps. The challenge is not just technical, it's also about building something that could really help people. And I hope that the ability to do that inspires everyone here in this room tonight. I'm sure we've all heard the negatives of AI, but what about the positives? It is a technology with the single most potential to either help the climate, economy, people, or world as we know it, but only if those actively building it consider the dangers with equal gravity as the gains. Ask yourself, are you solving this problem because you really care about who and what you're helping, or for your own personal gain? Is it another tick on your college agenda, or do you believe in your solution? In all aspects, at all times in your life, ask yourself that question. Because there is success beyond just making money, and it is gained when your invention truly helps someone. You never know, maybe in some small or big way, it saves someone's life. And what could be more rewarding than that? Thank you, guys.